A woman had been married for 10 years, but throughout their entire marriage, she never allowed her husband to get close to her. No matter how patient he was, she always kept him at a distance. Eventually, he could no longer take it. In a moment of anger, he went straight to the Civil Affairs Bureau, and the two of them quickly signed the divorce agreement. Their 10-year marriage ended just like that. The man packed his few belongings and left the house where he had lived for 10 years. He did not even look back. At first, the woman felt relieved. She thought she was finally free and could live however she wanted. She had always considered her husband dull, incapable, and not good enough for her. But that night, when she was alone in the huge house, she began to feel an emptiness she had never experienced before. For 10 years, her husband had quietly taken care of everything. He woke up early to cook, washed the clothes, cleaned the house, took her to work, and brought her home. He did all of it without complaining, yet she had never appreciated him. Instead, she was always angry with him and blamed him for everything. A few days later, she finally found out where he was living and rushed to his rented apartment. She knocked on the door, and when it opened, she froze. A beautiful, short-haired woman was standing there. She was a nurse who had met her husband when he was hospitalized after the divorce. She had slowly become close to him and had been taking care of him. When the husband saw his ex-wife standing at the door, his eyes became cold. Without saying anything, he raised his hand and closed the door. The woman was heartbroken. She wanted him to come back, but she still did not know the truth about the life he had lived during their marriage. 10 years earlier, her husband had been seriously injured while working at a chemical factory. Corrosive chemicals had damaged his arms and nerves permanently. He suffered from severe pain and often could not sleep through the night. He could no longer do heavy work, yet his wife never once asked him how he had gotten the scars on his back. All she knew was that he did not earn enough money. What she never knew was that he had sacrificed almost everything for his family. When the factory suffered a huge financial loss, he took responsibility for it. He also secretly gave a large amount of money to his younger brother, who was struggling with debt. Instead of telling his wife and embarrassing her, he kept everything to himself. Despite his injuries, he worked during the day at an express station and worked overtime at night. For 10 years, he barely slept, simply because he did not want his family to suffer financially. But his wife never understood any of this. Whenever he was sick, she thought he was pretending. Once, when he was suffering from a high fever and desperately needed money for medicine, she accused him of acting and refused to help him. She even took his money to pay off her brother's debts. Her brother kept taking advantage of her kindness, while she blindly believed that she was helping the person she loved. Eventually, the husband became completely exhausted. He resigned from his job and left for a coastal town. When the woman discovered where he had gone, she sold her jewelry and traveled there to find him. After searching for days, she finally found him working at a wholesale market. But the man she saw was nothing like the husband she remembered. He was bent over from pain, carrying heavy goods and working in freezing water. Every few minutes, he had to stop and hold his back. Cold sweat covered his forehead, yet he continued working. She ran toward him and begged him to come home with her. Before he could answer, an elderly man nearby angrily confronted her. "Do you even know what this man has suffered for you?" he shouted. "He worked through unbearable pain for 10 years. He could barely afford his medicine, yet he never let your family go without money. When he had a high fever and collapsed, you accused him of pretending to be sick. When he asked you for money, you refused to help him. But you had no problem taking his money to pay your brother's debts. He sacrificed everything for you. For remaining story, subscribe our channel."